We all know that the camera we're using underwater is only a tool, and it's still the person behind that camera that creates the image. Nevertheless, once you've reached a certain level with your underwater video skills and you want to further improve your results, upgrading to a higher end camera system has been a logical step in the past. Especially since these larger systems have become somewhat more affordable in recent years. I mean, they are still expensive, sure, but not like I take out a mortgage expensive, like for example 15 to 20 years ago. So naturally, a lot more of the today experienced and seasoned underwater image makers among us are able to afford a higher end underwater camera system. But just because you're able to afford it, should you really go for it? I mean, what is the real benefit nowadays in 2025 to invest in a cinema or mirrorless underwater camera system? Let's find out in today's video. Hey there, underwater image makers. It's great to see you back here on the channel. If you're new here, my name is Matthias and I'm an underwater cinematographer and content creator who's been working in that field for the past 15 or so years. Besides creating content for the scuba diving and water sports industries, I spend a good amount of my time teaching other divers how to capture their underwater adventures in the best and easiest way possible. I do this through online courses as well as live on-location workshops like our upcoming one that will take us to the Maldives in early April. So if you're interested in improving your underwater video skills, have a look at the courses and workshops linked to in the video description below. Now let's get into today's video and the question whether or not higher end camera systems still have a space in the underwater imaging community. First, let's divide the available camera systems into 4 different categories. Cinema and mirrorless cameras like a Red Komodo or a Sony A7S III, we'll call them simply higher end cameras. Compact cameras like a Sony RX100 or an Olympus TG7, action cameras like a DJI Osmo Action 5 Pro or an Insta360 Ace Pro 2, and smartphones like the iPhone 16 Pro or the Samsung S24 Ultra. We'll cover the pros and cons of each of these different camera systems first, and I'll tell you what type of underwater image maker I think each category is best for. At the end then, we'll come to a conclusion whether or not higher end cameras still offer an added value and benefit for the use underwater, and if so, to whom. Let's first look at smartphones. There has been huge technical advances in smartphone photo and video, and especially since the brand Divevolk has joined the party with their incredible one-of-a-kind C-Touch 4 Max underwater smartphone housing, the use of smartphones underwater has increased dramatically. Whereas a few years ago, seeing someone using their smartphone to film underwater was very rare. Nowadays, I feel like those divers are outnumbering the ones using any other type of camera. And that doesn't surprise me much anymore. In the end, the advantages of using a smartphone to capture your underwater adventures are numerous. For one, pretty much everyone has a smartphone with a decent camera in it, so you don't need to buy a separate camera. A big plus is that people know how to use their smartphone camera because they are using it every day on land and are very familiar with it. No need to reread manuals before a dive trip to familiarize yourself again with the functions of your underwater camera. This applies specifically if you're using a Divevolk housing which, with its unique membrane, allows you to use the phone and camera in the same way as you do on land. Another pro is the integration of several lenses and the ability to switch between wide angle, regular and telephoto lenses underwater and in an instant without having to change any gear configurations. That makes the smartphone system very versatile. Also, all your footage is on your phone, ready to be shared to your favorite platform right after you dive. Sharing your underwater adventures doesn't get easier. The cons of a smartphone system are mainly the image quality. And even though a lot of smartphones do a great job enhancing your footage through specific software, the rather small sensor comes with limitations, especially in low light scenarios. Another disadvantage is that depending on what camera app you're using, you might not be able to control certain settings manually and have to rely on the camera's automatic settings, which don't always lead to the desired results underwater. If you're using a Divevolk housing and therefore are free to use any camera app you want underwater, have a look at the new UvaCam app. In my opinion, it's the best and most complete camera app for the use underwater and my preferred camera app choice at the moment. I'll link it down in the video description below. Next up are action cameras. They have become an integral part of the diving community and it's very rare to be on a boat or with a dive group without at least one diver carrying an action cam with him or her. That is mainly the achievement of GoPro, but nowadays I would most likely pick another brand if I was in the market for a new action camera. I'm not gonna go into too much details here, but you can check out my detailed action camera comparison video, which will be linked in the video description below. The pros of action cameras are well known, I guess. They are small and lightweight, relatively cheap, easy to use and very durable. They deliver decent quality footage, but lack the versatility of, for example, smartphones, as their extreme wide-angle lenses somewhat limit their areas of use. Filming macro or close-up shots is challenging at best and requires extra wet lenses. The wide field of view usually causes distortion and blurriness in the corners of the image. Yes, you can certainly correct that, but again it requires extra wet lenses. And lastly, using them inside their dedicated dive housings, which by the way is highly recommended even though they are waterproof themselves to a certain depth, you limit the settings and functions you can manipulate while being underwater. Before we look at the next category, the compact cameras, let's take a quick break to thank our sponsor of today's video, Scuba Divine Maldives. Rifshan and his team run two modern state-of-the-art dive centers in the heart of the Maldives, only minutes away from some world-class dive sites, providing you with opportunities to dive with mantas, sharks, turtles, schooling fish, whale sharks and so many more awesome marine creatures year-round. One is located on the island of Difushi and the other one on Dangeti Island. Both these islands are local islands, making the experience you'll have staying on either of those islands a lot more natural and affordable compared to a typical tourist island. The Scuba Divine Maldives staff are highly experienced and very customer orientated. But the best thing is that Rifshan himself is an underwater videographer and cameraman. That means that he knows exactly what is important to us underwater image makers when choosing dive sites and evaluating conditions. And that shows in the decisions he makes regarding when and where to put us in the water to get the best possible chances to capture that shot we're really after. That's why Scuba Divine Maldives is my favorite dive operation in the Maldives and I'm very thankful they are sponsoring today's video. Go check them out through the link in the video description below, and should you be on your way to the Maldives anytime soon, I can highly recommend to plan your dives with Rivshan and his team. Compact cameras used to be very popular in the past due to their good image quality, their ability to be upgraded over time using all kinds of different accessories, their manual control options and their relatively affordable prices. In recent times though, I feel like I see less and less compact cameras on my dive trips. It seems like the pros that compact cameras bring to the table are also covered by smartphones and/or action cameras. And because those two are oftentimes easier and more intuitive to use, divers tend to move away from traditional compact cameras. And let's finish the list with cinema and mirrorless cameras, or simply higher end cameras. Their biggest pro is most definitely their image quality, which is superior to all the other systems. These cameras come with larger, oftentimes full-frame sensors, helping immensely in low-light situations and in creating a certain cinematic look with a nice, natural-looking background separation. A lot of these cameras come with the ability to record raw video, which is a whole different level and provides unmatched post-production flexibility. Stability is another pro with these cameras. Because they are rather big and heavy, they sit much nicer and more stable in the water, which helps in capturing more stable shots. Customization is another pro, as you can really tailor these systems to your specific needs, adding monitors, using a large variety of different lenses with them, attaching cables for video feed to the surface, and many other useful accessories. Another advantage is the full manual control these cameras offer to the user, even underwater, as their dedicated underwater housings give you access to pretty much every camera function. But this can also be a disadvantage, as they require a higher level of experience and expertise in operating them, especially underwater. The high to very high price point is another con, and you need to get used to the bulk of these systems, the massive file sizes and the more complicated post-production workflow if you decide to shoot raw video. So what is the best system for you? If you're the occasional diver that has a limited budget and looks for an easy to use point and shoot system to document their underwater adventures without the ambition for higher accuracy in colors and best image quality, an action camera is probably a good choice for you. If you want a more versatile system that gives you the opportunity to capture everything from wide angle all the way to macro shots within the same dive, doesn't require you to buy a separate camera for the use underwater, is intuitive to use and makes it easy and quick to share your underwater experiences with friends, families and the world, a smartphone sounds like the logical choice for you. If you want a dedicated underwater camera system that gives you access to more manual controls, higher image quality and the option to upgrade the system with some accessories, a compact camera system is a solid choice for you. And if you require the highest of image quality because you intend on selling your footage on stock footage sites, you do work in that field, or simply enjoy capturing the highest quality footage and want full manual control of all the camera's functions while not minding the extra bulk you carry around and the extra complexity such a system brings with it, well, then a higher end camera still is the best choice for you. Because none of the other systems offer what a higher end camera can, specifically in the image quality section. Coming back to our initial question, is it still worth buying a cinema or mirrorless camera for the use underwater in 2025? Yes, I truly believe it is, but only if image quality is of the highest importance to you and you're okay with the financial burden and the drawbacks such a system comes with. I have personally just invested in a new cinema system and am switching from my much loved Red Komodo to the Red Komodo X because image quality is of uppermost importance to me. How this image quality difference between all these underwater camera systems shows, that's what we are going to look at in next week's video with example shots and comparisons. So if you don't want to miss out on that, make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell if you haven't yet. Let me know what you think about these different underwater camera systems, which one you like the best, and should you want to learn how to make sure you buy the right underwater camera for your needs, check out this video over here next. Thanks for watching guys, keep capturing your awesome underwater adventures and I will see you in next week's video.